Hi, welcome back to ODE. My name is Paulo and you already know that by this beginning of each month I show you the pens that I have with ink for that particular month. So today I'm going to show you the pens for August 2020. First, I want to ask you to like the video if you like it on the end, and to subscribe my channel if you didn't already. It's really important to subscribe. And I want to let you know that this is one of those videos that will get quite long because I have a big amount of pens to show you today. So let's take these. I will try to put, if I have the time to do it between editing and so on, I'll try to put the time marks for each pen, so you can skip the video and go to the part you want to watch. And I will try to put for each pen, if possible, a link to an online store or to eBay, for example, to some place where you can find the pen. And if I already made a review of that particular pen, I will leave also the link for my video. So check the description below, because that will allow you to navigate between each pen that I show and to go to their respective video and to where you can get one pen like that. So I think that's important. And let's start. I was saying that this video is going to be long because it usually is, and because I have lots of pens. Again, last month I had 34 pens to show you. Today the number came down to 31. Most of the pens are the same that were used last month. Some of them are new arrivals and some I already had, but I just inked them. Some of the pens I have here are on my video of my favorite of the first half of 2020. One pen that you will find missing on this video, and this is a pen that I'm really enjoying and I showed you the unboxing, is this one. This big Pilot Elite made of sterling silver with this beautiful big nib. And it's not in this, it will not be featured, at least with a writing sample in this video, because the pen stopped working. And why did it stop working? Because we already knew that was going to happen. The filling mechanism, which has a very special kind of ink sac, the rubber broke, so we cannot fill this pen anymore. I will try to find some way of finding an adaptation for this. I will try to make a video about that, but that's the only reason why this pen is not featured in the video, because I really love that pen. So let's start the 31 pens that I have to show you. And the first one is, let's call it like a king or a queen of patina. This pen is made of copper and it is very oxidized by now, with different kinds of oxidation. The parts that are more in contact with hands are different than the other ones. And in the start of the video we have, let me see if it's all on frame. This is the Kaweco Liliput copper, and this pen is a pen that I've been using for a long time. I think you know it, you've seen this pen in my videos lots of times, and it has inside an ink mix. And I really love this pen. I love the ink flow and everything about it. So, very beautiful pen in my opinion. You can have the clip or not, and it ages beautifully. I like it more as it is now than when it was brand new and shiny. The next pen is also a Kaweco. The order of the video is by brand, so all the pens from the same brand will be next to each other. This is a pen that I've been using all the time. It is my pocket pen, and it is a Kaweco AL Sport Stonewashed blue, which means it is made of aluminum. That's the AL, and it is a sport because it's sport model, and it is a stonewashed because it has this worn look to it, and it's a very good pen to carry in your pocket, very sturdy, made of aluminum. It will not break, and it already has this scratched feeling, so you do not have to be in fear of scratching the pen. Just put it in your pocket and write with it all the time. That's what I do. This is one of the pens that I use the most. Not that much, since I am in this remote working mode, because this is a pen to go out with it. And this inside is one of my favorite inks ever, which is the Parker Quink Black. And this is a black ink that is quite well behaved. I like the ink, and it's very safe to use on pens, easy to clean out. And then the very special pen, the Kaweco Sport in coral color, but this is the collector's edition. This is a pen that in the Facebook group of Kaweco collectors and users, this pen was made for the group. It's not an exclusive edition, but it is a special edition for the group. I'm very happy this finally came out. I have plans for future pens, but I'm not sure if I am up to the challenge of preparing them, but I really would like to have this done again with Kaweco. I'm quite happy with this. So this is the Kaweco Sport Collector's Edition. This one also has a fine nib, but you can see it is much narrower, with an ink that I like a lot. This is the Diamine Inkvent Calendar Solstice, but you cannot easily see the shimmer of this ink, and this nib is finer than the other, so it's really difficult to see it is the perfect pick for this pen, because I really like the ink and I like the pen, but this pen is not the best one to show all the characteristics of this beautiful ink. Now, the next pen is this one, the final Kaweco for today, only 4, which is unusual to me. The big nibbed one, the heavy Kaweco Supra Steel, with also an F nib that is much more springy than the number 5 nibs that I have. This number 6 is much more springy, with Pelican, Edelstein, and why am I running away from the lines? Pelican, Edelstein, Aquamarine. I really like this pen. It is a very good pen. It has this section that allows you to make this bigger as it is now. Otherwise it will become the same size of a Liliput, but just girthier. So, very beautiful pen. Now that I'm doing this, I saw the shimmer, but I think it's the angle that I am here next to the paper, but I think you can see now the shimmer on the on the diamine solstice. Very beautiful ink. Next pen. Another big pen from Germany, a pen that reminds us of the Montblanc 149, because this one also is a very big pen, but this is a Senator President. Beautiful pen with a big nib. This one has a fine steel nib. They are made with also gold nibs, and it has this kind of, it was common in many German brands to have a blind cap that would come out and then you could use the piston mechanism. So this is the Senator President with a fine nib. This nib has lots of feedback, not scratchy, but lots of feedback, and I like that. And the ink it has is the diamine pumpkin. This is a very nice bright orange ink. That is a sample that I got from my friend YouTuber, the Inky Nib. He knows a lot more than I do about inks, and he gave me this sample, and I really like, and I like to use it in this big pen. The next one is a shift from Germany to Italy, and this pen is a Nettuno. Not that easy to focus. Please focus there. Nettuno 1911, and I think now it's focused. And it has this very beautiful blackish, black barrel, black trim, but it is very beautiful and it has a very vintage look to it. I always say this in every video where I mention this pen. I love this pen. It's a simple cartridge converter, the ones that you can access the converter from here or from removing the barrel, and I really like the pen. This is the Nettuno 1911 Black Sands. The feel of the nib on the paper is just amazing. This nib is a fine nib, but this is much broader than the other ones. The ink that I have here is the Waterman Violet. And let me just show you the kind of line variation you can have, and a very gorgeous ink flow. So, very beautiful pen. I really enjoy this old style looking pen, and I made a challenge to Nino Marino that is making this pen. Maybe there will be something interesting coming soon. The next one is this pen that comes from the Czech Republic. A very big pen. Remember that this one is of the size of a Montblanc 149. This is much girthier. And this is a pen that is handmade. It is the Pen Teo Bonita Oversize Black, with also a fine generic Yovo nib, with the Montblanc Leo Tolstoy ink. The nib is quite a common Yovo nib, but this pen is perfectly done, perfectly made, and this is something that I really enjoy in a handmade pen, the care for the details. And from Czech Republic we go to the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, to the United States, and we have this pen. This is a cross, you can see there, and the name of the pen is Cross ATX matte chrome with diamine aqua lagoon inside. I forgot to mention that the nib is a medium nib, and I really enjoy this color of the ink. The pen is interesting, the nib is too small in my opinion, and this is a pen that was sent to me by Apple Boom for review. So thank you, and I think this will be coming back to you soon. I'm just still working on the reviews. The next pen is also from the United States, also sent to me by Apple Boom for review, and we are talking of a beautiful matte gray pen, and it is a Sheaffer Prelude matte gunmetal with diamine Monbodos hat, which is an interesting, very dark purple ink, and the flow on this pen is quite good. However, I have to say something about this. Both these pens have good ink flow, forgot here to say this is an F, but they become a little bit dry when they are left unkept and unused. They're left kept and unused. So the cap seal, or the seal on the cap, is not that good, and the nibs dry out a little. So that's a little problem those two pens have. And then we go to a pen that, in my opinion, has no problem except being a little bit ugly. And then when I say that, I think some people will get mad with me, but I don't think this is a beautiful pen. However, it has a very unique design and it writes really well, and I like it for that, and it's quite inexpensive. This is a Parker 25, and it has this thing that keeps the pen posted perfectly, also almost seamless, and this is a nice trick of the design. So this is the Parker 25 steel, but in blue color. The nib is a M nib. And what does this have inside? I don't know. A mixture of stuff. So this is another ink mix which looks like a bluish black. And this is a very good pen. Parker pens are very good pens in my opinion, or at least some of the models are, and this is one of the examples. The other example of a very good Parker pen is this one of my favorite pens ever. I have this pen for many years now. You can see, because of posting, the brushed metal there is getting shiny, and this is the Parker 45 Flighter, which means it is all made of steel, gold trimmed with a fine nib, and it has the Pelican Edelstein Smoky Quartz. This is a combination of pen and ink that I really like, and this is a very good pen. Very good pen. Some people don't say the same, because there is a characteristic of that pen that may annoy some people, which is the sweet spot of the nib, which means the area of the nib where it is very, very smooth on paper is really narrow. So you need to find that perfect spot. Otherwise, it will seem scratchy, but it's not. You just have to hold and use the pen the right way. It's like the pen is the boss, not you. So it's an interesting kind of relation, but I have to make a video on the Parker 45. It's been waiting for too long and I need to go for it. And now we go to the Parker Duofold. And Parker Duofold is one of my favorite models ever, and this one is a very beautiful recreation of the old Parker Big Red. There is a little stuff there on the nib. This is the Parker Centennial Duofold. Centennial means it is the big sized one. The classic red, no, the classic big red, sorry, I'm very messy, with a fine nib, and it has inside the Parker Quink red. And this is an ink that I have lots of it, and I like the pen. It even has this old reproduction of the old engraving on the Parker pens. And we go to the Caras Kustoms pens, which are some very nice pens made of unusual materials. This one is aluminum and Delrin plastic with a Bock nib, number 5 Bock nib. And so this is the, it's kept there, it's not usual, it doesn't do that usually. Caras Kustoms, and I think it is because of the ink with a broad nib. This is, I forgot, the name of the model is the K. It is a broad nib and it has an ink mix inside. This nib is very good and wet because it is a broad nib, but I think some of the pens, some of the inks that are mixed inside are not enjoying the company of each other, and maybe they are making this pen skip. It happened to me before when I make some ink mixtures like this, so be aware of that. And from the United States, where this pen is made, we jump to Italy. I seem to have each time more and more Italian pens. That's an interesting thing. You can see that this pen really, let me bring this light a little closer. This pen has lots of chatoyance. It's a very beautiful pen. It is a Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore, which is the name of the model, and the ink it has inside is, it says a medium nib, and the ink is Leonardo Turquoise. No, sorry, not turquoise, obviously, it is Leonardo purple. And this pen writes really well. It is a beautiful pen, and this is the Furore in the regular model, which is the regular size, which is the only one that exists, which means that maybe a Grande version will be following, and with a very nice detail. That, okay, I don't think I should talk much about that. We have here the Leonardo, the next pen, which is a Leonardo Momento Zero Grande, which means it is a big pen. And let me go to the next one, which is a Leonardo Momento Zero, regular size. So the same size of the Furore, just a little shorter. And this is the Momento Zero Grande. Now imagine a Furore Grande. Nice. Okay. This is the Leonardo Officina Italiana, Momento 0, Grande, Dark, Hawaii, and I need almost two lines to write the name of the pen, with Leonardo, and this one is the turquoise, which means turquoise in Italian. And this is a beautiful pen. I love the nib, I love the feeling of the pen, I love the size of the pen, I love the material, which is gorgeous. It's very, very beautiful, with these like sea colored parts and these sand colored parts. Very, very beautiful pen. One of my favorite pens also. I really enjoy the pen. And we jump to the smaller sized Momento Zero, the regular size. So this is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Iride, which is this beautiful green and blue material. I find it quite interesting and it has lots of depth. And this nib is a fine nib, and the ink inside, I need to change this ink. I like the color of the ink, but I hate the name. It is the Ackerman 28, which means it is the Off-Quartier Groen ink. I hate the name just because it is in Dutch and I can't speak Dutch. I have nothing against Dutch besides not being able to say it, and I seem to always make fool of myself when I try to say the name of this ink. But it is a very beautiful yellowish green that I like a lot. I need to review this ink, not done yet. And we go to the last Leonardo. You see, as many Leonardo as Kaweco and Parker. No, actually, only 3 Parker, but 4 Kaweco and 4 Leonardo. This is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Messenger Orange. It was a limited edition, a very simple but well-made pen. Big one, I like it. Leonardo Officina Italiana Messenger Orange, with an extra fine nib, although it behaves more like a fine, with Waterman South Sea Blue, which is that turquoise, the light blue Waterman ink that now has a different name. This is a beautiful pen. I really like it, the size, and I really enjoy this pen. And now from Italy in English. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening with me. I'm just messing things and names. From Italy, we go to the USA, and this is the Esterbrook, which has a very beautiful material in a bluish, purplish color. This was also a pen sent to me by Appleboom for review. The fine nib. And so this is the Esterbrook Estie, and the color is Cobalt blue, with a fine nib but a stubbish one, and the ink it has inside is a beautiful dusty purple, which is the Graf von Faber-Castell violet blue. And you may see the stubbish character of the nib. but I like the colors. I think it is an interesting pen. I'm not crazy about it, but it is an interesting pen. And from the United States we go to Germany, which has a Schneider. The model of the pen is base, there's not written anywhere, and with a B nib. These kind of nib that almost look like the Lamy nib. This is the Schneider base with a broad nib, and the ink it has is the Herbin Vert Pré. A very light and bright and interesting ink that I think is just not very good for writing, but for marking texts and underlining stuff. I think it's, I don't know if it's good for highlighting, but for underlining, yes, I think it's a nice thing. It reminds us of the Lamy Safari, and I think it is a kind of a competitor to that. And now we go to another of my favorite pens. This is a pen that I got in 2020, in this year, and this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens. Beautiful pen. Let me show you this nib. Ooh, it has some dry ink there. Let me clean it on the feed. Okay, now I can present it. This is a Visconti 20K 23 carat palladium nib, a fine nib. This is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age Oversize with a fine nib. This is a vacuum filler, and it's made of the resin made with lava from Mount Etna, so it's a very interesting pen with my very safe Parker Quink black. And this nib has some softness to it, so you can have some line variation, and it has a very good ink flow. So this is a very good pen. The problem with this pen is, if you read some comments online, you'll find that not all the pens come with the same kind of quality control on the nibs. That's why I went for a used one that I got on an exchange with a friend, so I already knew how the nib would perform. And now, another pen. This is a Japanese one, so we jump again from Italy to Japan. This is our first Japanese pen of today. And this is the Pilot MR, and this one has a medium nib. Yes, medium nib. And it has inside the Pelican 4001 Royal Blue. This is a pen with a very good ink flow. I bought this pen in used condition, and this is the Pilot MR because it takes international sized cartridges. If it had the same looks but it had Pilot cartridges, it would be the Pilot Metropolitan. They are the same pen, just with two different filling systems. And then we jump from Japan back again to Europe, to Greece, for this very nice and interesting pen. This is the Metaxas. And the pen is skipping. It usually doesn't do that, but that's the explanation. It is empty. So, because I have to send this back to Applebaum, I don't think these will show up on the next month. So this is Metaxas and Sons and Scenes. Let me just do this all the way and try to see if we can write with it just the sentence. and the ink it has inside is an ink that I find quite interesting. Is the, where is the name? Sorry, I have to check my, is the Herbin Orange Soleil, which is sun orange, and this has a fine nib. It is a Bock nib, unbranded, very good pen. Believe me, it doesn't skip. It writes beautifully and wet for a fine, but this one is getting out of ink, so that was the problem, not the pen problem. It's getting out of ink, just that. And the next pen is another pen that I got from Appleboom as a loan, unfortunately, because this pen is beautiful. Not unfortunately that I got the pen, unfortunately it is just a loan, because it's a beautiful, beautiful gold nibbed pen. And this is the Jacques Herbin Caravelle Ebony. So it's made of wood, with ebony wood, and the ink it has is the Parker Quink, not black but green, and the pen is very wet, very well made, very well tuned. I really enjoy this one. Beautiful one. I don't have a review yet, but it is one of the next reviews that I will record. And we'll go yet to another pen that was sent me by Appleboom, and it is the last one that Appleboom sent me in this series. So we got from France, Jacques Herbin, to Japan again, and we have a platinum. And this is the Platinum 3776 Century, and this one has a soft fine nib, so you can do some stuff, some line variation, and the ink inside is the Platinum Blue, and you can see the line variation you can get from this Japanese pen. And let's go from Japan to Europe again and to Germany. And in Germany we have the Stormtrooper pen, the Pelikan M100 Stormtrooper with a broad black, very feedbacky nib, with a beautiful ink, the Sheaffer Script Turquoise. Okay, it is almost on the unpleasant side of feedback, and I love feedback, but this pen is just amazing. It's so fun to have a pen like this, black and white, reminding us of a Stormtrooper for the Star Wars fans. And let's flip the page over and go to the last 6 pens. We're on the next page, and we jump from the Pelikan in Germany to Japan again. And this pen is the Sailor 1911 large in black with gold trim, with a hard medium nib, and the ink inside is the Platinum Blue, and it has this ink which is the same of the Platinum 3776, because I want to make a versus video where I will compare both pens side by side, because I think that could be interesting. This is another pen with lots of feedback, but I love the Sailor feedback. This is a 21 21K gold nib, and I think it is quite beautiful. I love sailor pens and how they perform. And so, I think we are done with Japan, and we jump back to Europe, and we have a French pen, although it is a Harley Davidson, and this is a pen that I always wanted to have since I was a child. I found one new old stock in a store and I bought it. So it is a Harley Davidson, and the pen was made by Esterbrook in France, and it has a medium nib, and the ink it has is a cartridge of Visconti turquoise. And just tell me if this isn't an amazing pen. And I'm not that much into motorcycles, but I find this pen very, very nice. I'm really happy to have these with this very good clip. And now, I'm running out of memory on my camera and running out of time to do this. Let's go for the final four. This is another pen that, as far as I know, this is from the French production. This is a Reynolds. I will call it purple because I don't know anything more about it, about the model. It started to be an American pen. Now it's produced in India, but there was a time it was produced in France. It has the R for Reynolds, and it writes quite well. I would say that this nib is a medium nib. There's not information anywhere. So I will say this is a medium, and it writes really well. It skipped, but it was my rotation. Don't blame the pen. And this one has a blue ink cartridge that was almost dry that came inside with the pen. I bought it used, and I just filled the rest of the cartridge with water, and it started writing. It has this interesting marbled effect on the barrel, but it has no depth or chatoyance. And from France we move down a little bit to Italy, and we have this Tibaldi Perfecta. Wonderful pen, I love it. Tibaldi, also with an ebonite feed, that makes all the difference. Perfecta, rich black, because this pen is black, the blackest pen, with a fine nib, with that eagle on the nib, and it has one of my favorite inks that is not available, which is the Mont Blanc Daniel Defoe, because it was a special edition and I like it so much. And the bottle is getting empty. And now we move to an interesting pen. Yes, it is a Chinese pen. We go back to Asia, and this is a Chinese pen that is a copy. Yes, we already know of the Parker Centennial Duofold, but this one has a very interesting nib, and I bought this because it would be fun. And I have here one of the inks that I don't really like, but I thought this would be an interesting way to show it. And so let me write in reverse. First, this is not Parker. This is the Jinhao. Now let me write like this. Centennial. And now it's his brother. And it has, let me do it like this, a food nib and the ink. And now let's work with this the full way. This is a Mont Blanc Oyster Grey. As far as I know, this color is discontinued or will be soon. I have still a bottle of it, almost full, because I don't like that much grey inks, and I'm using it for, in this pen, just I want to make a review and of the ink, and then this bottle will be given to a friend that loves the color. And finally, another pen full of patina, back again in Europe, in Germany, and this is a Graf von Faber-Castell. So, Graf von Faber-Castell, and this is the basic with a fine nib with that logo. Sorry, not that easy to show. And so fine nib, and it has the Graf von Faber-Castell hazelnut brown, which is a nice, interesting, but more on the reddish side of brown. So I think it is a really good homage to hazelnut brown. This is a beautiful pen that has lots of patina. As far as I know, the regular or the current edition doesn't have it because it has some plated. I don't know if it is platina. I don't know. It is plated and so it doesn't tarnish. This one does, and I really love this tarnished silver look. The pen, I didn't say it is a basic ebony. It is the same very dark wood you can find here on the Jacques Caravelle, and this is a pen that I bought used. It was in very dry. The wood was very dry. I think it is somehow quite good for what it was. And this is all that I had to show you today. So it was a long video, but I warned you about that. Don't forget to look down to see the timestamps for each pen, the link for a web store or eBay for the pen, and also the link for the review that I made of that particular pen if it is already available. And finally, let me just say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my channel, because I'm almost reaching the 2,000 subscribers and I would love to have a little help to get there. This is all that I had to show you. See you next video. Bye.